This video is a follow-up to the August 24th principal meeting about the Leadership Report Card in the Lead4Ward module in EdUgents. The goal is for campus administrators to be proficient in running the Leadership Report Card. Once you've logged into EdUgents, on the left-hand menu, click on Lead4Ward. Select your campus and what grade you'd like to see and what subject. And then click the green button. Open the window for STAR so that you can see all of the available STAR tests. Lead4Ward recommends that Checkpoint 1 contains historical STAR information. You can put as many data points here as you wish. Lead4Ward recommends that Checkpoint 3 be the most recent STAR administration. I can close this window or collapse it in order to be able to see local assessments. Lead4Ward recommends that Checkpoint 2 be local assessments, which would be your district unit assessments or your progress monitoring assessments in secondary. Again, you can add as many as you would like. Remember in reading that we recently got new TEKs. Lead4Ward has asked EdUgents to remove any STAR test events that were administered with the old TEKs. We're not sure when this will happen, but when it does, you will not have any historical STAR data to put in Checkpoint 1. Lead4Ward has its recommendations for what goes in each checkpoint, but keep in mind that you can look at the data however you would like, depending on what you want to see. You do not necessarily have to have something in every checkpoint in order to run the report. Once you have put something in the categories that you'd like to see, click on the green lightning bolt icon to generate the report. From here, click on Leadership Report Card. It may take a few moments for this report to populate. This is the Leadership Report Card. At the top, you see the clusters or groups of TEKs as defined by Lead4Ward. You can print this page at the top by clicking on this green icon. This will allow you to highlight any areas which you are below the 65% threshold set by Lead4Ward. What you see here is the average percent correct for each of the TEKs that are included in this particular cluster from all of the test events that you put in each checkpoint. So in this example, we're looking at the vocabulary cluster, which includes TEK 5.3. So any TEK that was on any of the STAR assessments we put in Checkpoint 1, and any of the TEKs within those tests that covered 5.3, the average percent correct for this campus would be averaged together to get to this 82% correct. Keep in mind, especially Checkpoint 3 represents only one test event. So this means that there are some TEKs that were only tested one time. We should not attempt to draw conclusions or make significant changes based on one question, especially when it's a hard item, an item that was designed to give a challenge to the master students, and therefore we don't expect all students to get it right. The best way to see how many items were included in each of your checkpoints is to click on the Source Data Report. Keep in mind that the Source Data Report may take a minute or two to populate. The Source Data Report shows how many items from that particular TEK are represented by the checkpoint. So for example, if we look at this TEK right here, 5.8a, of all of the assessments that we put in Checkpoint 1, this particular standard, 5.8a, was tested 5 times. This is important to know if we look at this example in Checkpoint 2. Of all of the local assessments that we put in Checkpoint 2, 5.8a was only tested one time. We certainly do not want to make large-scale decisions based on one item for this particular standard. Note in this example, we're looking at reading. Edugens has put the 2009 TEKS side by side with the 2017 TEKS so that you can see the relationship between our old reading standards and our current reading standards. Where it is possible, they have shown this relationship and they display the old standards where they align to the new standards. At the bottom, you see the quintile analysis for each of the 3 checkpoints. Now, in this case, quintile 1 is the lowest quintile, whereas quintile 5 is the highest. Note that this is the opposite of how NWEA labels MAP quintiles. When you locate a cluster with trend data that indicates a need for improvement, consider how these standards begin in K2. Use the Lead4Ward scaffold documents and the field guides to trace a standard back to earlier grades. On the Lead4Ward website, click on Resources. On the Resources page, under the grade levels for Math, you will see a choice that says Math Scaffold. This allows you to trace a particular TEK back to earlier grades. If I go to whole number in operation, I can see that this Math TEK 5.3a connects back to TEKs in 4th grade and 3rd grade and 2nd grade. There is a tab at the bottom of the spreadsheet for different groups of standards that you can trace back to earlier grades. For reading, we recommend the English Language Arts and Reading K2 Vertical Alignment document that came with our new standards. You can simply search for the English Language Arts and Reading K12 Vertical Alignment document to see this particular page. This allows you to trace a TEK from as high up as English 4 all the way back to kindergarten to see where the current grade level TEKs started in the earlier grades. This scaffolded relationship between the upper grade standards and the lower grade standards will allow you to identify the focus TEKs for improvement in instruction, as well as identify TEKs that may need professional learning support in grades K through 8.